Welcome to Movie World Plus. I am Andy Signore, and I just got to experience the beginning of Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's right, I got to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ragnarok. Quantumania. Oh gosh, I kid, but yeah, it really is the Ragnarok of Ant-Man. And for a lot of you, I think that's going to be very off-putting. Let me say, though, right out the gate, I went in with such low expectations because I've been so disappointed by Phase 4. I feel like there's too much, and I'm going to get to my thoughts on the state of Marvel as well. Overall, though, because I went in with such low expectations, because I've built a sort of tolerance, like, okay, well, it's going to be what it is, I was pleasantly surprised and enjoyed myself more often than I thought I would, given it does carry a lot of the same beats. This film is by no ways an amazing Marvel film. It's definitely a passable Marvel film, I suppose. But yeah, as I sat with it and sit with it longer, I do still have my issues. Now, overall, I like Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. I really do. I think he's a fun, lovable character. I've enjoyed the other two Ant-Man films. Ant-Man 1, I think, is better than Ant-Man 2. The story in Ant-Man 2 just gets sillier, and the ghost character, wasn't a fan of them. But I like the sort of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids aspect of it. I think he's very likable. I think his, back and forth with Michael Douglas, I can't say her name, Miss Lily is great from Lost. She takes a total backseat in this film. This is not the Wasp's film by any stretch of the imagination. Well, it is the Wasp's film. It's a Michelle Pfeiffer film. And she excels, as does Jonathan Majors as Kang, sort of. I guess I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. Let me start at the beginning. All right. Overall, I like this film more than I thought I would. At the end of the day, though, I didn't love this film. I was entertained. I was distracted. It's a lot of CGI. Get ready for a lot of CGI. In fact, I made a tweet about it last night. I'm just in shock of the amount of CGI, digital effects, visual effects companies. There are two end credit scenes. There's a mid-credit scene and a final end credit scene. As you're watching those, waiting for those credits, I want you to count all the visual effects companies and teams that worked on this film. Like, my God, I don't want to knock them because some of the CGI does feel rushed, but it's not their fault. Like, the amount of CGI that the Marvel movies require is insane. And I just wonder if they're really being taken care of and if we are overworking these people. The fact, like, if you made this movie in the 90s with the amount of like crazy CGI spacery, like, it would be the most iconic film of all time. But because we've been desensitized to all of this stuff and all this visual, smorgasbord, it's becoming less exciting and magical, even though this film should be magical, given that you're stepping inside the quantum realm. But let's start there with my biggest issue, the state of Marvel and this film in itself. We are introduced to the quantum realm more specifically, and the rules of the quantum realm seem to have changed since Ant-Man's previous films, where previously when you fall in, you will endlessly shrink and, never exist, and you'll be in a crazy head. But I suppose we learned more when we were able to get Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet she's Janet, right? We get Janet out of there, and they learn, oh, there was more to the quantum realm than we learned, I guess, is how they justify that. But this idea of the quantum realm being this endless impossibility of the craziest things in the world, when our characters all get sucked into the quantum realm, which you've seen in the trailers, because Cassie, now grown up, is following in her father's footsteps and is, but also now using more of the technology and has created a communication to the quantum realm. She's put a sound out that has now attracted the quantum realm, and it sucks them all in. And of course, when they all get sucked into the quantum realm, they all just magically fall within, a few miles of each other in this area. Look, you got to get past that to enjoy this film. I did when I watched, it's like, all right, whatever. But if you really try to like process and think about the rules of the quantum realm and how they find each other and who are these people in this you'll have a big headache. You got to turn all that off because it's getting to a point where it's like none of it makes a lick of any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. We've now gone to the worlds where it's like, okay, whatever. So that's issue one. You got to get past that jump point of logic. You also got to remember, this isn't the first new realm we've learned. I'm going to spoil Phase 4, so if you haven't been up to date, spoiler warning. We have to start back with what? WandaVision introduces the multiverse, sort of, in the Wandaverse. And then we got Shang-Chi, which introduced, I forget which realm that was. What was that weird dragon fantasy verse that we didn't need that he somehow magically goes into? The magic verse? And then there's the Eternals, like universe of like, oh, the Eternals and the Sentinels and all these crazy big things. And that would be that's already too much to have the multiverse with Wanda, to have the Shang-Chi verse, to have the Eternals universe. We've like boom, 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 right? But no, we weren't done, were we? Then we established Loki's time verse and the time police. And you're like, oh, wait, there's time variants. And then we had to actually introduce the multiverse of madness with the actual multiverse. And again, you'd think, do we have enough universes? No, Marvel's going to send you back to the quantum realm to see the quantum universe. It's too much, Marvel. It's too much. Even for me as a Marvel fan, I know the comics did it and it's like, whoa, crazy. It's just too much to follow. It's too many verses. The magic that might have been there in a new universe that we stumble upon is now gone because of the quantity you've shoved out there of all of these things. So we've become desensitized to the cool visual effects, to the fantasy. We saw this in Shang-Chi. I've seen this in Multiverse. We've seen this it's too many times where I'm no longer surprised or in awe of what Marvel is putting out there because they're just working these CGI people to death to create more visual effects and more universes. And ultimately, that's the problem with this film. At the end of the day, like there's a story. The story is Janet didn't tell us all the information. She met this person, played by Jonathan Majors, who we learn is, yes, Kang the Conqueror. And she kept that from everybody. She didn't want to tell what was going on. And the film sort of hides that, but you really sort of can see what's coming. And it's very clear that Kang has, brought them there and is trying to use them to escape is really what the plot of the film is. And so, we got to fight against the Quantumverse, this place that was so impossible to get to before that they managed to save and get, but now they can, whenever they want, I guess, go to the Quantumverse. The science of Marvel has just become so ridiculous. But anyway, that's the plot. All that said, I still enjoyed some of the visuals. I'm going to admit to that. The Quantumverse at times looks a little muddy and not great, but there are some characters and times where it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm seeing something different. But then why are there humans there? There shouldn't have been a single human in the whole world if we're going to make this cool, different place. But of course, they cast Bill Murray and others to be humans in this world, which just confuses things. Like, where'd you come from? They even ask one point, are you human? He's like, I don't know, sort of. It's just a whole confusion of, well, what is this place? But again, turn that off and just enjoy the visuals. And sometimes they're good. Again, I got to give a spotlight to Michelle Pfeiffer, who does her job. She does a great job. She is a lead in this film. There's a lot of stuff where you go back and see her journey and what she's doing. And they do de-age her at some points when you go back to like sort of what happened when she was there. And she's good. She does her best. There's points where you wish she would have just told everybody the truth and the whole thing, how it should have ended, would have been a lot easier. But then we wouldn't have had such an interesting movie, I guess. But that's really what it is. She didn't tell everybody, and because of that, then people suffer. And look, I like Michelle Pfeiffer. She's a legend. And yeah, all the talk is about Jonathan Majors as Kang. And he's a good actor. He's a good actor. It's an interesting character to an extent. However, I'm not sold. I'm not sold. This is the big, amazing baddie that we're all waiting for. Yes, he has the range. He jumps from like crazy to just stoic, pretty well. Like he's able to be just really on that line of jumping to unhinged when he needs to. However, I don't know. Do I really want to see the million variants of Kang, which we've met one in Loki. Now you're meeting one here and you're going to learn more about this character and what this means for the Phase 5. Am I excited? No, I'm not. I'm not that excited. And I can't spoil the film. I will say I enjoyed the ending of this film, like to an extent. The film makes some choices that I wish they wouldn't have made. I wish they would have committed to some other choices is the best way I can sort of say that. And overall, though, yeah, it's fine. I wasn't bored as I watched with Wancho of the Ravens Flock. We both were like, all right, that was cool. It was fine. The showdown between them is good. Is it believable? Yeah, more than I thought it would be, I guess. But again, this is where it's hard to talk about. This is hard without getting into spoilers. I will say Ant-Man does get to step up and, be a hero for real and like fight people and use his powers to fight people. And that was cool to see. It was cool to see Ant-Man stepping up. The daughter, I don't know why they had to recast her. I know she's like a better actress, I guess, but she was meh. And again, Evangeline, all right, I said it right. Lily as the Wasp really doesn't get much to do. She's just completely, there's so many characters to write about, and they do not give her a lot, but to support everybody. She's there as the traditional female Marvel character to support Scott and Cassie and be such a good person. And it's like, really? We didn't get more? She got screwed in this movie for sure. To allow Michelle Pfeiffer to step up in some flashbacks. And then Michael Douglas does get some good moments too. But all right, well, potential spoiler alert. I mean, this has been shown in a trailer. I'm not going to show you the actual thing, but the other big thing is, yes, the rumors are true. This has been, Marvel's revealed this. I won't show you behind the mask. He takes his mask off, but MODOK, iconic Marvel character of the big head in a little chair, MODOK, is in this film. And it's weird. It's funny. The CGI I know is supposed to, they do something with the CGI that I think was on purpose, but I didn't like it. Yeah, I laughed. There's a couple points and it plays into the narrative, but a lot of people are like, he steals the movie. I'm like, did he? He's a fine. Did he? I don't know if he stole the movie in my mind, but I guess people were just really bored of this movie. So that was exciting. But again, cameos, multiverses, universes. It's more of the same old Marvel stuff. So at the end of the day, like, yeah, I didn't hate this movie. I know it seems like I hated it. I have problems with it. I guess I have bigger problems with the state of Marvel. And the saturation point has been hit to a point where even the visual effects artists are trying their damnedest and we're just not wowed anymore. And the visual effects, I want to give them credit again. They are trying their damnedest. They really are trying to create the impossible here. So I thank you. I don't know. The wow factor is gone to me. And these films are starting to feel very same old. This is very Ragnarok in that it's you take the characters in this, funny tone, mixed mash of tone where it's like, it's Paul Rudd. So you got to have some comedy. But then I did feel like from time to time, he pulled it off better than Hemsworth did. Rudd can pull off a dramatic reaction or two. And I felt for him more than I did for Thor and Ragnarok. The rest of the cast, though, is just all supporting there to sort of lift him up. It's definitely an Ant-Man movie. And Jonathan Majors as the big baddie, we shall see. I mean, he's definitely acting. Like, he cares. Jonathan Majors is giving it his all. For that, I give him props. I understand why people are excited about him. But am I excited about the prospect of the character? Not really. It's kind of confusing to me. And I can't elaborate more on what the version of Kang. If you know the comics, you know sort of where things are going. And I assume things are going to go into certain ways the comics go. And based on those assumptions and from what I've seen, I'm not that excited about the what is it called? The Kang Dynasty or whatever they're calling the Avengers movie. That said, I had a smile on my face. I will probably keep watching these movies just because I've committed and I've been there. But man, we've definitely hit that saturation point. One other thing I will say as I wrap up this review, it's definitely trying to be Star Wars. Like, it's totally trying to be Star Wars. And in some ways, I wasn't bothered by that. In some ways, it was better than Rise of Skywalker. In fact, I did think I liked it more than Rise of Skywalker, but there are moments of that in there. And there's moments that you're going to feel like, oh yeah, they're totally trying to just be a Star Wars space movie. And I don't hate that they did it, but it's noticeable. So you're either going to like or dislike that. It's weird because it's like, it's a space movie, but we're not in space. It's like in this quantum space. So then does that mean the Eternals is more serious in the space world? And then the fantasy, I'm so confused by all the worlds. Kevin Feige, you've introduced too many worlds, and that's the problem here. The stakes are no longer here. It's just everything's fantasy. If I lose a character, I have 4 other universes I can go find said character. It's too much. You went into the crazy comics realm, which I know he's a comics guy, and people are excited because, yeah, we're getting all the crazy stuff. But, there comes a point where we're like, all right, I'm tapping out. This is too much craziness. Things need stakes, and these films don't need to keep getting bigger and bigger on the CGI. They need to get more contained on the story. I want a Logan. I want something that's like more self-contained storytelling. I want a Joker. I want a movie that's going to not rely on all this universe building. Yeah, from time to time, it's fun. But my goodness, can we get back to good storytelling and cool characters? I'm excited for Guardians 3. I will admit that might be the proper ending of the Marvel Universe to finally get that one in there. but we'll see. I think James Gunn's got something to prove there, so I'm still waiting for that one. I'm going to root for that, but then Marvels and the rest of the stuff on the pipeline, the end credits are there. Again, the first one will set the tone for what to expect in Phase 5. I was not impressed. The final end credit scene after the credits will, without spoiling what it is more of a trailer for upcoming Marvel stuff. And that's become the new MO. I'm just like, that's not what I want. I want this to be its own thing. I don't want this to be a sneak preview for whatever's coming on Disney Plus. And to me, that's, again, a sign of what Disney's becoming, which is just one long TV show, which I'm starting to think is jumping the shark. What do you think? Are you still excited? Does this one look like it's going to be more fun? Do you think you'll be... Again, what's weird is even all that negative I just spewed out, I have to admit, I didn't hate it. I will watch it again with my kids because they like the first 2 Ant-Man movies. And I didn't hate it because I like Scott Lang and Paul Rudd as Scott Lang. I do. It's going to be a mixed bag for a lot of you because it's trying to fit in comedy and serious like Ragnarok did. And I don't think it's going to work for a lot of people. In fact, I see it's not working for a lot of critics. All that said, I think in order to, you got to either be a huge MCU stan, and then I guess you just like everything, or you're gonna have to turn off your brain a bit and the sensical stuff, and hopefully go in and enjoy it that way. That's how I was able to enjoy Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But man, Marvel, we're running out of energy here. Hit that subscribe button, hit that button for all alerts, the bell, smash the like button. Let me know what your excitement level is on Ant-Man Quantumania. I want to hear it in the comments down below. Stay tuned. I got another one coming up soon, Cocaine Bear. I'll be reviewing that here. I can't wait to see that one. There are some good movies coming out. Creed 3, we will be reviewing them all here, so make sure you stay tuned and watch these as well. Appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more on Movie World Plus.